Well, good afternoon, everyone. God bless you. Welcome to True Heart Makes Media, Boots on the Ground, where the rubber meets the road on WIMG 1300 AM. Trenton Talks Radio, sponsored by WIMG 1300 AM on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. at www.wimg1300.com and on Facebook on Thursdays at 7 p.m. on my professional Facebook profile, as well as on YouTube, True Heart TV. We're so thankful tonight for an opportunity to have a conversation with my brother of Wisdem. You're going to hear more and more about Wisdem. We're probably going to do a multi-series on Wisdem with Stephen L. Ball of Wisdem. Let me tell you a little bit about Wisdem, and then we'll have Stephen Ball come on and share with us. Wisdem and our mission is simple. Wisdom wants to democratize wisdom and help people reach their goals. Wisdom believes in the value of knowledge gained through experience. And wisdom also believes that such knowledge should be spread generously, not hoarded. To that end, wisdom provides services to people from all walks of life with a focus on inclusion. Wisdom delivers elite college admissions advising and the best essay writing service, along with access to other expertise. Wisdom experienced, diverse, Ivy League trained team is ready to help you reach your goals today. God bless you. What's happening, my friend? Good to see you tonight.
Thank you so much, Pastor Trueheart. Just appreciate that kind introduction, and you certainly captured our mission here at Wisdom USA, which again is to democratize wisdom and help people reach their goals. And that's why we have that unique spelling. So it's wisdom with an E, because we're democratizing. So that's where the DEM comes from.
Yes, I mean, let's talk about, first of all, I want to just talk about your strategic partners. What a host of great strategic partners, from Just Solved Tutoring to Young People Travel Global Edge to Crystal Coded to AM for Teens to Kobe Learning Group, Specifics Prep. I mean, you have a multitude of partners. Can you share how those partners, how you integrate those partners into the services that you offer, and then also if you would also share the services that you provide to high school students as well as college students?
Absolutely. So our core services that we provide are college admissions advising, college application essay coaching, and then we also offer online modules as well. We offer the college admissions readiness roadmap online module, and that's something that we created recently, really as a way to access clients at every price point. Again, with our mission being to democratize wisdom, we want to make sure that no matter who you are, you can find something within our suite of products and services that'll work for you as you prepare for the road to college admissions. And another thing that we provide in terms of value is connecting you to partners that also have the expertise that students today need in order to do well on standardized tests, for example. Although I have many skills, SAT and or ACT prep, that is not one of them. I'd like to leave tests like that long behind, whether it's that or the LSAT even, or the bar exam, kind of leave those in the rear view, but connect our clients and prospective clients even with folks that do have that expertise. And so that's why we're proud to have established strategic partnerships with some of the organizations that you mentioned. There's also another organization which is not mentioned on there, called Cornerstone Test Prep, which we've made referrals to clients as well for them, and they've been great. So I view this company as really kind of a calling for me. And it's not just a calling around college admissions coaching and college application essay coaching, but it's also thinking more broadly just about our community and other business owners from our community. So for example, Crystal Coded is the graphic designer that we've used, and she's a phenomenal graphic designer. She built our website on the Wix platform and did all the design, and has done a lot of marketing collateral over the years. And then also, I would be remiss in not shouting out my friends who I've known since I was 13 years old. Raymond Keys, he is with a business called New Sense Design, and he designed the logo for Wisdom way back. So that owl that's perched on the W and the color scheme and all that, that was all my boy Ray. He was best man in my wedding, and I was in his wedding as well. So we go way, way back. But I just, I think this is, for me, it's a deeper thing in terms of not just the mission with Wisdom, but also where we can uplifting and partnering with other businesses from our community and helping those businesses reach their goals as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the screen on the website. What a phenomenal website. A lot of great information. I had an opportunity to go through the website a number of times. And as you see here, folks, college admissions, if you can't see, I know it's radio as well as social media, TV broadcasting. But here, folks, on our radio listening audience, college admissions, college application, essay coaching, let's get started. A host of strategic partners, like Mr. Ball shared, host of services, college admissions, financial aid, college application, essay coaching. I mean, here's a laundry list of opportunities. Even the graduate school personnel statement, phenomenal for those who are going on to graduate school. But I was so impressed by the website and by all the information that was shared with me. We met up at the farm, the True Farmstead Home Farm, at an event. As a matter of fact, I believe it was our Juneteenth event, annual event there, and we had an opportunity to meet. And I was impressed then by not only by his brochure and his materials, but by his presentation on the various aspects of his program and by various aspects of his business. Wisdom, college admissions, of advising and essay coaching. I mean, here's the brochure. I mean, he even shared with me this booklet here, Wisdom USA College Admissions Readiness Roadmap. It goes from freshman, you can see that it goes from a freshman to sophomore to junior, senior, bonus, and helps. This is a hard copy edition. Of course, the modules are online. I mean, talk about the colleges that many of the students that you've coached through the program. Princeton University, University of Penn, Howard University, Morehouse College, UCLA, Rutgers, Fordham University, Boston College. And that's just a few. I mean, there's a laundry list of colleges that you've been able to work with students to get through that process. And I mean, it's a well-oiled step-by-step process from freshman year all the way through to senior year. How did you and your team put this together? And just in terms of conceptually thinking through the process of how this should work for students to matriculate through high school and have this roadmap and have these goals in mind for their success at the collegiate level?
It's a great question. So the way that we thought about putting our college admissions readiness roadmap module together was really reflecting on the coaching, right? And so a lot of times parents will approach me for services for their students, either sophomore year or junior year or senior year. Freshman year tends to be more on the rare side, but it does happen occasionally. But reflecting on all those meetings, I thought about the core areas where oftentimes we're advising, which would be, academics, extracurricular, community service, and then putting together a comprehensive and strategic narrative that students articulate to college admissions officers when they apply through their materials. And so thinking about all the steps that go into that and really trying to kind of build out a timeline for students and something that, is more than just like a printout that they can refer to, because that's usually not that engaging. But something where they could look at, they could refer to the steps over time, and also figuring out a way, again, to make sure that the information that I provide is accessible. One of the challenges with being in this business is that many times the families that often what I've seen, the families that purchase college admissions advising, college application essay coaching, oftentimes tend to be a little more closer to the affluent side. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But as I was sitting back, I said, the mission of this company is to democratize wisdom. It's literally in the name. And so we're not democratizing if our clients are not students from families like the family that I grew up in that couldn't necessarily afford a college admissions coach, but believed in education and wanted to equip their kids with, all the resources and information that they could. And so thinking more about that, I said, well, maybe there's a way where we can provide the same information that we do in our one-on-one coaching, but just make it more easily accessible, more affordable, and make it something that students can consume on a self-directed basis, working through a module, or their schools or their youth organizations like Boys and Girls Club and things like that could maybe purchase access for them. And so they can work through that on their own time and again, get access to the same information. So that was really where it came from. And then from there, it was really just looking into the marketplace at modules and other contexts, seeing what kind of tools that they use to make the content engaging. Because, when you're dealing with teenagers, these days, a lot of things are going to be on apps. So, or on the phone rather. So you want to have something that is easily navigable in mobile view, for example, on a phone. You also don't want to have a bunch of stuff that is too long-winded because, they won't necessarily read through all that. So trying to strike that balance, trying to also have video content as well. I want to shout out my good friend, Ryan Carmichael. He's been my friend since we were in high school, and he lives up in Jersey City these days. But he helped me with all the video content for the module because there are videos throughout. And then we also have, for students that prefer more of an animated experience, we have videos where it's me talking, but we have the videos are animated. So I was able to find an animator and create kind of these colorful, cartoonish kind of versions of the videos as well. So there's meant to be something in it for kind of every student. I realized that, this is still kind of a selective audience in a way. It's not a product that will appeal to every single student, but I think for students that are driven, are motivated, are interested in learning what the steps are to reach their college admissions goals, it will appeal to them. And then the last piece that I'll say on this is that we also tested it with actual students. So before we rolled this out, we did a test run where we got feedback with current and former Wisdem clients, as well as current college students who were looking back on their high school journey and saying, man, what do I wish I had known? What kind of information would have been helpful to me then? So we did basically, a product test with a really robust group of folks that had really informed and kind of exactly the perspectives that we were hoping to gather on this. So it's tested firsthand by teens themselves. And so I think, from that you see as students use it, as their parents even go through it, it's a really powerful tool in just helping people understand the steps they need to complete to be successful in selective college admissions.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to having you come into the school district to speak with our superintendent, Mr. James Earl, in Trenton Public Schools. I sit on the board appointed by the mayor. I'm going up for election this year. We moved to elected board in November, but we hope to be victorious in November as well. I continue to serve on the board. I've been serving on the board for the last decade and currently serving as vice president. And so I'm looking forward to introducing you to the superintendent and his team, because I believe this is a tool that our students certainly need, because it is certainly a roadmap. Man, I read through again I can't emphasize this enough, Brother Ball. This booklet right here. This is this is a this is just the hard copy, simple version roadmap. It takes you through every single step. And I remember, just so as a story, I remember my son going through this process. And if we had followed all these steps, we'd been much more further ahead. We did okay. We're at NJIT, got some scholarships and everything to get there. He did well in school. We were able to, I was able to navigate, but to have this tool would have been so much easier as a roadmap to navigate for parents and for students to navigate your way through freshman year, through sophomore year, freshman year. We talk about freshman. You talk about freshman year grades and experience matters. The transition can be tough, but aim to start out strong. Give yourself grace in your struggle initially. And you go on. You talk about begin developing your college-bound narrative. I'm just going to read a couple of these points. Improve and sustain that improvement. It's like a video clip of you from the module. And you talk about it's okay if you're unsure about what you want to study in college or do as a career. For now, focus on thinking about what you like and dislike. Many more students need to hear about that. Some folks want to go for careers that where there's money, where you're going to make money and be miserable, right? I love that part where you say, talk about and think about what you in your freshman year, what you like and dislike, and really focus on the things that you like. I mean, and then in the sophomore year, you talk about it talks about sophomore year. This is a year to recalibrate for the rest of your journey, right? Deepen and intensify your efforts inside and outside the classroom. Position yourself to excel in your second half of high school. See how this it's a story that you're telling. And as you read this book and read this pamphlet, it goes through year after year after year, and it helps guide these students and the parents. And it's a good tool for counselors to use to help guide the students through the process in a booklet format as well as online. And I believe you also have a 30-minute free consultation for folks who want to learn more about it. Let's talk about that. What's that about? Tell us more about that initial consultation that you're offering to folks.
Absolutely. So it's very easy. All they do is go to our website, which is wisdemusa.com. So WISDEM USA.com. And if they just click in that upper right corner when they get there, they'll see a link to a complimentary consult. So they click on that, and then they can find time that works for them based on the calendar. And it's very seamless. You go in there, and then there's a little questionnaire that we ask you to complete just so we have some basic intake information. But I love those consults. And it's funny because I was doing one with a couple of parents this past summer who ultimately they did not become clients. So it doesn't always work out. But I remember the dad being struck by how many questions I was asking. And he's kind of like, why are you asking so many questions? Why are you and that's because one, I'm passionate about this, right? This is my business. This is what I care about. This is, I want these outcomes, good outcomes for our clients. But two, it's also because you can't really help someone succeed if you don't really know them, right? If you don't know their journey, if you don't know their story, if you don't know what their goals are, what they've been through. So I try to be very meticulous and diligent and thorough in our consults. And, oftentimes they go beyond the 30 minutes just because I get again, I think I said this earlier, Pastor Trueheart, for me, I see this as my calling. It's a huge responsibility when you're shaping the trajectory of someone's career potentially in their life going forward. So it's not something that I take lightly. I don't view these conversations as just kind of a basic transactional matter. For me, it's much deeper than that. And so with the complimentary consult, I try to add value so that even if the client decides not to go with us, they come away with something that's been useful to them and that, one way or another can benefit them and their children as they think about their future. So we welcome that. And, some folks do it over Zoom, the complimentary consult. Some prefer a traditional phone call. Either way works for me. But it's just a great way to kind of understand, what they're looking for with their child. And I will say another thing on that, and I want to be clear, and when I say democratize wisdom, it really is true. There are other businesses in the college admission space, and they kind of lean into, well, we only want to support kids that are trying to get into Ivy League schools, or we only want to support kids that are getting to, this type of school. That is not our approach at all at Wisdom USA. I believe if you're democratizing, you meet people where they are, and you serve people, no matter what their ambitions are, no matter what their grades have been. So we've done everything from clients who had literally GPAs in the 1.0s to clients that, with weighting and all that, had GPAs above 4.0s. We've done clients that are obviously, many clients are public schools. We've had private schools. We've had boarding schools as well. We've even had we have some international clients as well. We've had, clients that overseas. So, and that's the beauty of things, because we do, I am able to accommodate some meetings locally in New Jersey, but by and large, our meetings, and I say that because those meetings sometimes can be in person, but by and large, our meetings are over Zoom. And that works very well for students, because these days students are busy. They have tons of activities. The parents are busy. Everybody has different things going on. And so by doing over Zoom, we're able to work with clients across the state. And then again, as I said, we've even worked with clients in areas beyond New Jersey. So we work with clients in California, Oregon, as I said, overseas, and then elsewhere in the Northeast as well.
Excellent work. Now, I really wanted to hear more about your team. That you're surrounding yourself with top-notch, educated, from Fordham University, Harvard. Of course, you're a Harvard grad. Talk about your team that you surround yourself with, that folk will have an opportunity to connect with, at least from a standpoint of the services that you're providing. Tell me more about your team that you surround yourself with. You surround yourself with folks who are experts in their area and top-notch students to the best schools.
Yeah. So I mean, we've really built that out intentionally. So, everything from Joanne with her excellent marketing expertise and her MBA from Fordham, and she worked in advertising previously. So it's been a great support and really thinking about how to engage with clients and capture clients and really build out our web presence and all those little kind of nuances to being successful, in a largely digital space. That was not something that was within my area of expertise. So I'm so thankful to her for her just tremendous support and her brain power in bringing all that together. Angela as well, former college admissions advisor at Northwestern University, a former educator, and just a really great thinker and writer, and just brings tremendous perspective as well. Then we also have Kevin. He has a PhD from Yale and a master's from University of Michigan. And so he is just a phenomenal writer and critical thinker. And, obviously with someone who has a doctoral degree, has navigated higher education at really, the highest potential level and succeeded. So he's excellent. Dale, a more recent addition. So Dale has her undergrad from Yale and her law degree from NYU. And I actually met Dale, Pastor Trueheart, at the same event where you and I met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yep. So I met her there, and we struck up a conversation just talking about college admissions and her experience. And she actually had a business years ago where she did this kind of work. and then eventually shifted to pursue other endeavors. But the core skill set and passion are still there. So Dale's, an excellent addition to the team, and a fellow lawyer by background, like me. And then you also have Madiha, who I worked with Madiha in a previous role, another lawyer. So I don't know if there's something to this lawyer thing where we like to coach and show up in this space, but just another phenomenal person. And then we also have Bernadette, whose expertise is in financial aid. And the beautiful thing about Bernadette is she's the mom of 4 college educated children. So she has been through this as a mom, and she has been through it professionally. And so she brings to bear tremendous knowledge from both sides of that experience that she can impart to our clients, and just provide very shrewd and thoughtful and practical advice on how they can manage the financial realities of a college education, which folks may know, it seems to get more and more expensive every single year. And so Bernadette can help families make really informed decisions about that as they think about, managing the cost of higher ed. So it's a great team. I like to say we're lean. I don't want to say lean and mean, because nobody's mean, but we're lean and effective, and able to really just achieve tremendous results for our clients.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tremendous team, and that's called wisdom, when you surround yourself with wise counsel and folks who can lead the charge and follow the vision, the mission, follow the vision, mission, goals, objectives, and action plans, and then you can rest and recalibrate life and show and see success in your students. Let's talk about some of the success stories from your students. What are some of the success stories? I know we talked about that all the different colleges, a few of the colleges that students that you coached along the way who have been admitted to and have matriculated through. But what are some of the other success stories that you may be able to share with our community?
Yeah, so one that we as you alluded to, we've had our clients get into all kinds of schools, whether it's Ivy League schools like Princeton and Columbia and University of Pennsylvania, to other top caliber schools like Duke and Washington University in St. Louis, Fordham, Howard, Morehouse. So cornucopia in terms of like selectivity. But again, we don't only emphasize one type. I will say the story that I am proudest of when I look back, and I love the clients that have gotten into Ivy League, and they're great. I love them all. But I will say that the story that I am proudest of is I had a client this past admission season who had been through so much in her relatively short life. Her dad had early onset Alzheimer's. And so it just, for her growing up, really shaped her experience in so many ways. And she really had to take on, she has one older sister, a twin sister, and then a younger brother. And so with her dad having early onset Alzheimer's, he wasn't able to work anymore. And so it thrust her into a lot of responsibilities for her family that most students that age don't take on. So she was, managing a lot of caretaking and how, contributing to providing for the family, contributing to take care of her younger sibling, helping out with caretaking for her dad as well, helping her mom out around the house. So just, a lot of stuff. And then she also, in addition to that, had her own kind of personal challenges that, that she dealt with in terms of learning. But she showed incredible perseverance, and she took AP courses, and she took other courses that weren't APs, but that were still, rigorous courses. And she really put herself out there and invested her all into all that she did. And she got into UCLA, which was her dream school. and she is just starting there this fall. Her mom actually sent me a text the other day to say, look what you did. This would not have happened without you. So that is what I'm proudest of, because I will admit, in that case, I always tell students to aim high and dream big, and don't put unnecessary limits on themselves. But in that case, if I'm honest, I thought UCLA was a stretch. I would never discourage a student from trying, because you never know. But I thought it was unlikely to work out. But she kept believing, and she kept working, and she kept pushing and kept advocating for herself. And I was right there along with her to support her in that. And by the grace of God, it all worked out for her, and she got into her dream school. So I am proudest of that, because I feel like it was not so much about me, although, obviously I played a role in supporting her and coaching, and I like to think my contributions made a difference. But I also was just very proud of her for her belief. And I think the Lord really just spoke to everyone involved in that situation. And it was such a blessing and such a great outcome for that family, because that will open doors for her anywhere. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my other clients that have gotten into great schools across the Northeast, HBCUs as well. I had a client who got into Spelman, and she is thriving there, and really wants to be a doctor someday, and has taken advantage of their programs and preparation for that. A client up at Hartwick College in upstate New York. One of the interesting things is I get a lot of clients that have some interest in playing sports at the college level, not always necessarily Division I, but they want to find that split where they have good academics, but also potentially the opportunity to continue their athletic career. So I have a client that I worked with a couple years ago. He's approaching his junior year at Hartwick College and has done really well there. So very proud of him. I have another client who is an aspiring lawyer and from Somerset County, and is wrapping up, or just starting rather, her year at Syracuse University. So very proud of her. I find particular reward, Pastor Trueheart, in coaching and guiding students who are first generation college students like I was. I grew up in a family where neither of my parents had a 4-year degree, but they always stressed education. The one challenge with that sometimes is when you don't have parents who kind of been there and gone through the entire process. You just don't always, because they haven't lived it, they don't always have the information that they can pass on. So I love my parents, and I'm thankful for all the sacrifice and everything they did for me. But I take it to heart when I coach students, especially when they're first gen, that it's a heightened responsibility for me as an advisor and coach. And it makes it all the more rewarding to see them getting into phenomenal schools and going off to pursue their dreams. So, you named a few, but I'll say Lehigh, Seton Hall, NJIT. I know that's a special connection for you. Northeastern, Morehouse, Howard, you name it.
I happen to be a Morehouse grad, so I'm a little partial to Morehouse.
Okay.
My oldest son, graduated as well from Morehouse.
Okay. Congratulations on
that. So my youngest son went to NJIT for track and scholarship, track and academic. So he's matriculating. That's why he's matriculating at NJIT. But Morehouse was calling him though. Morehouse was definitely calling. Yeah, it's different. It's a different experience. HBCU, it is a different experience, man, at the HBCU versus a different other types of colleges. So I know I enjoy my experience.
And I think it's as we've seen, not just from the events of 2020 with George Floyd, where I know they're following that, there was a lot of added emphasis on the HBCU experience and supporting HBCUs, but also, following the developments with the Supreme Court last year, I think all these things continue to reaffirm and underscore the importance of HBCUs to our community today. We know that they've been just vitally important and integral in the past, and have produced so many leaders and have really been the economic engine for our community. But I believe that there's still so much of a strong role for them to play in that. I can't think of any other institution in the country that really is kind of built around our experience in that way for such a prolonged time, right? Like there are other affinity organizations, but nothing else I can think of where, like, for 4 years and potentially more,
right.
You really kind of have this framing around the Black experience. So I think it's wonderful. And we certainly get a lot of clients that are interested in HBCUs and not just, the big four. I mean, I know everyone kind of knows Morehouse and Spelman and Howard and
right.
But also, we get some that are interested in other HBCUs. So, Xavier or North Carolina A&T,
Morgan State,
Delaware
State, Morgan State, Delaware State.
Yeah, I mean,
we can just keep naming them, right?
Yep. So we get students that are interested in all the full gamut of HBCUs, and it's wonderful to see them find their place there.
Yeah. One of the things I was impressed by the experience that you shared about the young lady who persevered through and did not stop, but continued to press forward for her goal, right? And how, even though she had obstacles in her way, she was able to persevere through, to fight through. And they saw that the good fight of faith. She had faith. And one of the things that you share in your booklet here is, remember this booklet, guys. I mean, this is important. Is you say, based on their individual family circumstances, it is not uncommon from students to have added responsibilities, such as spending significant time caring for loved ones, e.g. younger siblings, contributing to household finances, or any number of other heightened obligations. So I want to make a point here that not only was that one of your highlighted experience that you shared, but it's also something that you've added into your material to let folks know that even though sometimes we struggle, there's always an opportunity for you to come and participate, come and join in, and don't be afraid or feel apprehensive because your situation is different than somebody else's. You don't know what the next person is going through, but you stay focused on your goals, focus on your mission and vision, and continue to fight that good fight of faith. And Wisdem will be there for you to help you through that process.
Absolutely. And that to me, in terms of value add, just in speaking with parents who, I've had parents where maybe earlier on in the high school career, they use a different company, or maybe they had an older child and that for them, they use someone else. And one of the things that so often I hear from our clients is that because of who we are, and we intentionally built out a team that's diverse across various dimensions, life experience, demographics, all those things. There's a relatability there that is just not present in many other businesses in this space. And so, again, for a field like this, you're talking about someone's potential life trajectory. I mean, that can be shaped in large part by where you go to college. And so being able to actually connect with the person who's advising you on that, to open up, to be vulnerable, to share, your hopes, your fears. I mean, it sounds, I know it sounds a little, maybe a little, I can't think of the word, but
cliche,
but it's true. Yeah, a little cliche, a little melodramatic, but it's true. I mean,
it's true. It definitely is true.
Yeah, I mean, they open up about their hopes, their dreams, their fears, the things um, that inspire them, right? That really make them feel empowered. And so much of what I try to do with my clients is boost their confidence, because I know from my own experience that those teen years can be brutal. I mean, high school can be a really tough time. And all the more so now these days where you have social media. And so you're getting tons of messages from, everywhere, not
Yeah.
just the societal messages, but literal, peers and all these things coming at you. So what I try to do with my clients is, number one, obviously being relatable because of who I am and my experiences. So trying to connect in that way, but also try to make them feel empowered, encouraged, help them believe in themselves, and counteract whatever negative messaging they might be receiving. I have one client that I was meeting with just earlier today who has it in her mind that she's a bad writer. And she's repeated this to me over and over again. And finally today, I had to pause and say, look, you are not a bad writer. You're a good writer. I don't know who said that. I don't know if it was a teacher who said that or a family member or, somewhere, a friend, whoever who told you you're a bad writer, but you're not. And I want you to stop saying that because it's simply not true. And so I think it's so important in this space to have these moments where we use this opportunity to not just connect, but also uplift and remind people of, God doesn't make mistakes. And yes, we also have our flaws, each of us, but we are also each perfectly and wonderfully made. And so reminding students of that and not letting them internalize the negativity that many receive during the teen years.
I mean, one of the things I think that's so important. One of the things I wanted to point out also in your materials is you talk about a gap years. So not that it's important to number one, secondary education is very important. However, a gap year is also an option. And you not only, I know you know in your business and your model is to help high school students and others at the collegiate level and masters as well, but to help primarily the high school students to matriculate through high school and on to college, right? But in your
Mm-hmm.
material, you don't discount a gap year. You actually talk about it and share the fact that that's an option, right? But it's an option, but it all depends on how you use that gap year, right, for growth or other things, not just to be out of school, but for some other opportunity that you may want to pursue, whether it be a certification or another a certification or a 1-year program or something, but prior to going into college, maybe it's a maturity issue or whatever it might be. But that is such a phenomenal, selfless part of this information and marketing material that I have in front of me and been able to take apart. And why do you think why'd you put that in there? But wouldn't that kind of hinder
Yeah.
your
Well,
focus on higher education and pushing them to get to that next level, but yet you still have an opportunity here for them to think about?
yeah. Well, because to me, it's a deeper calling. It's not just a transactional relationship where I'm just trying to, enrich my own bottom line by getting them into, but it's looking at the bigger picture, and it's looking at their life. And for some students, going to college immediately after high school is not the recipe for success. That they may have maturity issues at that point. They may have academically not quite prepared themselves to take on the level of rigor that you have when you get to the college level. There may be other things going on in their life, right, where maybe they need to work for a year to support their family or care for a family member. That's not uncommon these days. So I think it's being realistic about the fact that life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so thinking about that bigger picture where, okay, what are their goals in life? And so if it means taking a year to get themselves together maturity wise, to maybe work somewhere and save up some money for college a little bit, if that's a concern, to take a breather academically, because there are some times this happens where some students are just like, they're stressed out from just the grind of being in an intense academic track for so long. I mean, we often don't think about it, but I remember when I graduated from law school, it dawned on me. We start school, let's say 5 or 6, or you call it preschool 4 maybe, and you do that from age 4 or 5 to, if you finish at college, 22 or so. And if you go to grad school straight through, that's more years. So that's like a lot of consecutive years of kind of being in the same rhythm learning wise. And sometimes folks need a break, right? They need time to refresh, to kind of mentally recollect. And so that's why, the gap year isn't for everyone, but it is for some students and some families. And so we don't run away from that. We just want to make sure that if students do pursue that they're spending that time in a productive way that ultimately not only benefits them personally and their growth as they prepare for college, but also ideally enhances the options that they'll have as they look at college. And I'm working with the client right now who this client started out at a major university out in one of the western states. I'll just name it. Started out at University of Colorado, and it was not a good fit. It quickly dawned on this client that was not a good fit for her. So she elected to take a gap year, and now she is she's working, and we're trying to figure out a plan. And looking back, we realize that she probably would have had some other good options when she applied the first time around, but she just wasn't aware of certain things. And so it also gives her a chance to improve her college, her Common App essay, and just all these other pieces that when she was going through it before, she couldn't be thoughtful about it in the same way because she was just kind of rushing and just trying to submit and applying, but not really doing it in an intentional way with the extra support that she has now working with me. So, gap years can be a great thing. And for parents that are footing the bill for college many times, it can be even better than if you have a child who starts off isn't really mentally ready and locked in, and next thing you know they have poor performance that first year, and so you potentially end up wasting thousands of dollars that maybe you could have saved if your child had done a gap year and just approached college when they were ready for it.
Hey, man, I want to thank you, my brother Ball of Wisdem, College Admissions Advising and essay coaching, helping you reach your goals. I mean, I think our WIMG listening audience, our social media audience, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, we're going to have some shorts on Instagram and some other areas to share this great news about your business, about your company. You're the founder and CEO of Wisdem. Have a great team surrounding you, folks from you graduate, of course, of Harvard Law, and members of your team from Fordham University and other top colleges that you surrounded yourself with to help the students. This is not going to be the last time we have our conversation on WING 1300 AM Music for the Soul, 5-time Stellar Award-winning gospel station. But we're going to have a multi-part series, and I believe Brother Ball has agreed. We're going to sit down and map that out so we can get this information out to our community. So very much needed. for our young people, as well as for old folks like me, who may want to pursue a master's degree or a doctorate degree, right? I'm sure you'll be able to help me with some things there. So, and others. So I want to thank you so much, Brother Ball, for being here tonight and taking your time to share your business with our community.
Oh, thank you again, Pastor Trueheart. It has been my pleasure, and I encourage all those listening in the Mercer County area and beyond, connect with us at wisdemusa.com. It's very simple, WISDEMUSA.com. As Pastor Trueheart mentioned, you can schedule a complimentary consult. It's right there in the upper right corner when you access the site. And we look forward to connecting with you all, helping you reach your goals. And I just want to say, learning is lifelong. So if you do want support for that grad school, you know where to go.
I love it, love it, love it. Amen. You've been listening to WIMG 1300 AM Music for the Soul, 5-time Stellar Winning Gospel Station. I'm your host, Pastor Joel Trueheart II. Trueheart makes media boots on the ground where the rubber meets the road. You can catch us on IMG 1300 AM on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on our social media platforms, on Thursday at 7 p.m. YouTube and Facebook as well, on my professional profile on Facebook, and Trueheart TV on YouTube. But don't forget, tune in to WIMG 1300 AM every single day of your life to hear music for the soul. And also my brother in the morning, God bless him. You got to listen you got to get up early to hear this man on WIMG 1300 AM. God bless you. Have an awesome evening. Good night.